expressed concurrence of the countries concerned and are not intended to be used directly or indirectly to subvert the national independence and freedom of states in the area or prejudice the orderly processes of their national development. Thus, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, was conceived from the signing of the historic Bangkok Declaration on the 8th of August, 1967. Colonel Dr. Thanat Khoman, the then Foreign Minister of Thailand and the icon who initiated the founding of ASEAN, recognized the importance and necessity for regional neighbors to unite and collaborate their joint efforts to establish an association for regional cooperation to jointly develop, create, benefit, and promote wealth and prosperity for the nations bounded together by peace and goodwill. Dr. Thanat Khoman broached the idea initially, and the first founding member was the Kingdom of Thailand.
เราต้องไม่ลืมบุคคลที่ก่อตั้งขึ้นมาโดยเฉพาะ5รัฐมนตรีต่างประเทศซึ่งขณะนี้เหลือประเทศไทยประเทศเดียวคือคุณถนัดคอมันผมว่าคนรุ่นหลังจะต้องไม่ลืมบุคคลเหล่านี้ที่บุกเบิกในนโยบายในการเริ่มในการก่อตั้งสมาคมอาเซียนนี้
ASEAN was born, firstly, as an association for regional cooperation, and secondly, to accelerate the economic growth, social progress, and cultural development. ASEAN aims to promote regional peace and stability through abiding respect for justice and the rule of law and adherence to the principles of the United Nations Charter. ASEAN wants to promote active collaboration and mutual assistance on matters of common interest in the economic, social, cultural, technical, scientific, and administrative fields. ASEAN member states are to provide assistance to each other in the form of training and research facilities in the educational, professional, technical, and administrative spheres, particularly in agriculture, trade, and industry, as well as in communications and telecommunications, to raise the living standards of the ASEAN people as a whole, to promote Southeast Asian studies, and to maintain close and beneficial cooperation with existing international and regional organizations.
Important achievement of ASEAN should also be considered in the context what others see ASEAN. ASEAN is often seen as one of the most successful regional organizations.
Time passed. The success of ASEAN became apparent to the world community. Other friendly nations in the region became interested in joining the association after the global political crisis and ideology confrontation have eased. ASEAN then enrolled the 6th member. Brunei Darussalam, on the 8th of January, 1984, 17 years after the birth of ASEAN.
I think it's a very useful organization to be in, very useful. Definitely provides a platform for member nations to bring their voice out onto the global stage. Previously, when we didn't have ASEAN, we were separate individual countries, and 40 years ago there was a lot of distrust and between member nations. Well, there weren't member nations back then, but there was a lot of distrust, suspicion, with whatever was going on in the region. But with the formation of ASEAN, we've established a rapport between member nations, and I think that removes a lot of that distrust that I mentioned earlier, and I think that's the way forward for countries in the region.
Vietnam became the 7th member on the 28th of July, 1995.
Of course, we are happy to join ASEAN, and that's why we are a member of ASEAN. Since we joined ASEAN some years ago, we also done a lot of contribution to ASEAN development.
The 8th and 9th members were Laos and Myanmar, becoming members on the same day, on the 23rd of July, 1997.
อาเซียนเป็นองค์การจัดตั้งภาคพื้นที่มีความสำคัญหลายพวกเราก็เฉลิมฉลอง41 ปีแห่งการก่อตั้งแต่ว่าข้าพเจ้าคิดว่าอาเซียน10นี่ยิ่งมีความสำคัญต่อภาคพื้นกับต่อแต่ละประเทศของสมาชิกของพวกเราความสำคัญอันนี้มันแสดงออกอยู่ที่ว่าอาเซียนต้องถือว่าเป็นองค์กรหรือว่าการจัดตั้งภาคพื้นอันนึงที่มีความห่าวหันคืออาจารย์เคยบอกมีความห่าวหันเนี่ยอาจจะเป็นแปลเป็นภาษาอังกฤษว่าไดนามิกที่สุดขององค์การจัดตั้งสากล
Myanmar joined ASEAN 1995, 96. I felt that, if we join ASEAN to be a worthy partner, first we need to know what, at that time it was almost 30 years, 95, 96. The ASEAN member countries since founding have met, discussed, and solved problems or argued or whatever and come to agreements. So these are the things I thought that we should be aware of to be a worthy partner, so that we could fall in line with the objectives and of ASEAN. So my primary concern then was to have that information.
And on the 30th of April, 1999, Cambodia, with its newly acquired political peace, became the 10th and the latest member to join ASEAN.
Well, Cambodia became a full member of ASEAN on April 30th, 1999. I think since then it has been almost a decade, almost 10 years. And, we have been playing a very active role since assuming a full member of ASEAN, including, for example, the hosting of the ASEAN Summit, ASEAN-related meetings, also the chairmanship of year 2002 and 2003, and of course particularly leading up to the drafting of the ASEAN Charter. And you can see that ASEAN Charter is really a new document, a new milestone, and of course a new future of ASEAN.
The 10 members of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, are all located in Southeast Asia, which can be divided geographically into 2 areas: the continental countries Thailand, Myanmar, Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam, and the oceanic countries, namely Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Brunei Darussalam, and the Philippines. ASEAN comprises many nationalities with different languages and faith: Islam, Hindu, Buddhism, and Christianity. ASEAN populations live together peacefully, using English as an official language.
It is recommended that high school students should take up at least one other ASEAN language in order to help create.
The smallest but richest city in ASEAN, Negara Brunei Darussalam, is an Islamic sultanate ruled by a sultan who brought the island off the west coast of Borneo Island fully independent from British democracy. It is considered as one of the longest independent sovereign states in the extensive history of Southeast Asia. Chinese historians in the 6th and 7th century referred to Brunei by many names such as Poli, Puni, Bunli, before eventually becoming Brunei. Today, the Brunei Empire flourished in the 16th century, when it controlled the entire island of Borneo and other islands from north to south, which today belong to the Philippines and Indonesia. It is theorized that the name Borneo Island originated from the old name Brunei, when the Sultan ruled the whole island. The name Brunei then eventually became Borneo. Influences of European colonizing powers arrived in the 17th century, gradually reducing Brunei's power and land ownership as the British took control over most of Southeast Asia. Even though Brunei was not part of the colony, but Brunei became a protectorate of the British government and accepted a British resident as advisor on all matters except those concerning local customs and religion. The Anglo-Brunei Treaty of 1959 gave Brunei the first written constitution, which was revised and updated in 1971. A treaty on friendship and cooperation signed in 1979 led to Brunei becoming a fully independent state in January 1984. Today, Brunei is a country rich in oil and natural resources, with many beautiful green forests. The education and social welfare system benefits every citizen. It is where conservative social lifestyle and religion live in harmony with a constantly growing new way of life. Brunei is the 6th member of ASEAN. It has an area of 5,765 square kilometers. The population surveyed in 2005 remained at 373,000. Capital city is Bandar Seri Begawan. The people of the ancient Khmer were descendants of King Kampu. Folklore recounted that King Kampu was their ancestor. Thus the people were called Kampuja. The land is called Kamputhisa or Kampuja. The community around the Mekong River Delta expanded as a city under China's influence. The golden age of the Kingdom of Cambodia was the Angkor or Nagara period. From 802 AD up until it was seized by Siam in 1431 AD, the Cambodian arts and culture flourished to the greatest extent, and many Europeans began to take an interest in Cambodia and started to establish contacts. The country name, Kambuja, as it was called by Europeans, gradually became Cambodia. Finally, in 1864 AD, Cambodia came under French colonial domination, and boundary lines were drawn. This was a wake-up call for all Cambodians to their glorious past. Under the leadership of a 30-year-old Prince Norodom Sihanouk, the Royal Crusades for Independence was successful, and the French transferred sovereignty back to Cambodia on the 17th of